Welcome to this explosive breakdown of one of the most shocking moments in daytime television history, where Oscar-winning actor Colin Firth, known for his refined roles in films like The King's Speech and Pride and Prejudice, found himself in an unexpected whirlwind on the set of Loose Women. The panel, consisting of the ever-opinionated Denise Welch, alongside regulars like Nadia Sawalha, Jane Moore, and host Christine Lampard, was set for what should have been a light-hearted promotional interview for Firth's latest period drama. But oh boy, things took a turn faster than you can say, Mr. Darcy. It all started innocently enough, with Christine introducing Colin with glowing praise, highlighting his charm and his advocacy for various causes, including environmental issues and mental health awareness. Colin, dressed in a sharp suit, smiled politely and settled into the couch, ready to discuss his new film, which explores themes of love, loss, and societal expectations in Victorian England. The audience clapped enthusiastically, and the panelists seemed excited, with Denise Welch leaning forward, her eyes sparkling with what appeared to be genuine interest. However, as the conversation progressed, it became clear that Denise had her own agenda. She began by complimenting Colin's acting prowess but quickly pivoted to questioning his views on modern feminism, drawing parallels between his on-screen characters and real-life gender dynamics. Colin responded thoughtfully, emphasizing the importance of equality and sharing anecdotes from his work with charities supporting women's rights. Yet, Denise wasn't satisfied. She pressed harder, accusing him of portraying outdated male stereotypes that could hinder progress. The tension started to build subtly, with the other panelists trying to steer the talk back to lighter topics, like Colin's experiences filming romantic scenes or his favorite co-stars. But Denise, known for her outspoken nature and personal battles with mental health and body image, wouldn't let go. She referenced a recent article where Colin had commented on the pressures of Hollywood, interpreting it as dismissive of women's struggles in the industry. Colin, maintaining his composure, clarified his statements, but his voice carried a hint of frustration. The audience murmured, sensing the shift in atmosphere, and social media began to buzz even before the segment ended. As the interview continued, Colin shared behind-the-scenes stories, but each time Denise interjected with pointed questions, challenging him on everything from his privilege as a white male actor to his silence on certain political issues. The host, Christine, attempted to mediate, laughing nervously and saying, "Let's keep it loose, ladies and gentlemen." But the damage was underway. By the midpoint, Colin's polite smiles turned into furrowed brows, and he began defending himself more assertively. This wasn't the promotional puff piece he anticipated, it was turning into a debate club gone wrong. Viewers at home were glued to their screens, tweeting furiously about the unfolding drama. Some supported Denise for calling out what they saw as complacency, while others defended Colin, arguing he was ambushed. The segment, meant to be 15 minutes, stretched as the producers likely sensed the ratings gold. Finally, as the clash intensified, Colin Firth stood up, his face flushed, and declared, "I came here to talk about my work, not to be interrogated." But that was just the beginning of the storm. The studio lights seemed brighter, the audience quieter, and the panel more divided. Nadia tried to lighten the mood with a joke about Colin's heartthrob status, but it fell flat. Jane Moore chimed in, supporting Colin's points on artistic freedom, creating a brief alliance against Denise's barrage. Yet, Denise doubled down, her passion evident as she spoke from personal experience, recounting her own fights against tabloid scrutiny and industry biases. Colin, ever the gentleman, tried to empathize, saying, "I respect your journey, Denise, but this isn't the forum for personal attacks." The exchange highlighted the clash between celebrity promotion and raw, unfiltered discussion that Loose Women is famous for. As the minutes ticked by, the conversation veered into heated territory, with references to past scandals and current events, making it clear that this was no ordinary chat. The producers in the control room must have been thrilled and terrified in equal measure, knowing this clip would go viral. And viral it did, racking up millions of views within hours of airing. But let's delve deeper into what led to the ultimate walk-off. As the tension on the Loose Women set escalated, Colin Firth found himself increasingly cornered by Denise Welch's relentless questioning, turning what was supposed to be a promotional appearance into a full-blown confrontation that had viewers on the edge of their seats. Denise, drawing from her own experiences as a former Coronation Street actress and mental health advocate, challenged Colin on his portrayal of emotionally reserved men in films, suggesting it perpetuated harmful stereotypes that affect real relationships. Colin countered by explaining the historical context of his roles, emphasizing that art reflects society rather than dictates it, but Denise wasn't buying it, retorting with statistics on domestic issues and how media influences public perception. The other panelists watched in a mix of amusement and discomfort. Christine Lampard repeatedly tried to interject with, "Now, let's hear from the audience," but the spotlight remained firmly on the dueling duo. Nadia Sawalha attempted to diffuse with humor, saying, "Colin, you're making us all swoon even when arguing." But it only added fuel to the fire. Jane Moore jumped in to support Denise, sharing her journalistic insights on gender inequality in entertainment, which prompted Colin to question the fairness of the ambush-style interview. He pointed out that he had agreed to discuss his film, not dissect his entire career under a feminist lens. Denise, her voice rising, accused him of dodging accountability, saying, "That's the problem with privilege, you don't see it until it's pointed out." The audience gasped, some applauding Denise's boldness, others booing in defense of the beloved actor. Social media exploded with hashtags like #LooseWomenClash and #StandWithColin, dividing fans into camps. Colin, trying to remain calm, shared a personal story about his involvement in campaigns against violence towards women, hoping to bridge the gap, but Denise dismissed it as performative, citing examples of other celebrities who talk the talk but don't walk the walk. This personal jab seemed to strike a nerve. Colin's demeanor shifted from polite to perturbed, his responses becoming shorter and sharper. The host called for a commercial break, but the cameras captured the awkward silence as everyone shifted uncomfortably. Post-break, the discussion resumed with even more intensity, as Denise brought up Colin's past relationships and how they mirrored his on-screen personas, which Colin firmly shut down as invasive. "This is crossing a line," he stated, his British reserve cracking under the pressure. The panel tried to pivot to lighter topics, like Colin's favorite British teas or his thoughts on the royal family, but Denise steered back, insisting on authenticity in celebrity interviews. Viewers later reported feeling the raw energy through their screens, with many praising the show for tackling real issues instead of fluff. However, others criticized it as unprofessional, arguing that guests deserve respect. As the argument heated up, Colin referenced Denise's own public struggles, suggesting empathy should go both ways, which only escalated things further. Denise fired back, "Don't you dare use my life to deflect." The studio erupted in murmurs, and the producers signaled to wrap up, but it was too late, the clash had reached boiling point. Colin, shaking his head, muttered something inaudible, and the tension was palpable. This moment would be replayed endlessly online, analyzed by commentators, and even parodied on late-night shows. But what pushed it over the edge? Stay tuned as we break down the final straw that led to Colin's dramatic exit from the set, leaving everyone stunned and the internet ablaze with reactions from celebrities and fans alike. The turning point in the Loose Women episode featuring Colin Firth came when the debate shifted from general societal issues to a deeply personal exchange that exposed raw emotions and long-held frustrations on both sides, captivating the audience and sparking widespread discussion across media platforms. Denise Welch, emboldened by the panel's dynamic, delved into Colin's recent comments on climate change, tying it back to privilege and questioning why more actors like him aren't using their platforms for radical change. Colin defended his efforts, mentioning his work with Oxfam and environmental groups, but Denise countered with, "Talk is cheap, where's the action when it counts?" This accusation seemed to irk Colin, who leaned forward and retorted, "I've dedicated years to these causes, perhaps you should check your facts before attacking." The host, Christine, laughed nervously, saying, "Ooh, it's getting spicy in here." While Nadia and Jane exchanged glances, unsure whether to intervene or let it play out. The audience, a mix of Firth fans and Loose Women regulars, reacted with a blend of cheers and boos, adding to the chaotic energy. As the conversation progressed, Denise brought up the Me Too movement, asking Colin about his experiences working with accused individuals in Hollywood, which he navigated carefully, stressing the importance of due process and support for victims. But Denise pushed harder, implying silence equals complicity, leading Colin to snap, "That's a dangerous assumption, Denise. I've spoken out when appropriate." The back and forth intensified, with quotes flying like, Denise saying, "Men like you need to step up more," and Colin replying, "And women like you need to listen instead of assuming." The other panelists tried to balance it. Jane agreed with parts of Denise's points but praised Colin's contributions, while Nadia joked about needing a referee. Social media timelines filled with live reactions, some calling it the best TV in years, others decrying it as bullying. Colin, visibly agitated, adjusted his tie repeatedly, a telltale sign of discomfort for the usually composed star. Denise, fueled by her passion for advocacy, didn't back down, sharing anecdotes from her life to illustrate her points, which Colin acknowledged but argued were being misdirected at him. The segment, originally slated for promotion, had morphed into a therapy session gone awry, with underlying themes of generational differences and celebrity accountability. As tempers flared, Christine attempted to redirect to audience questions, but even those fueled the fire, with one viewer asking about Colin's views on cancel culture, to which he responded thoughtfully, but Denise interjected with her own take on it being necessary for growth. This constant interruption frustrated Colin, who finally said, "If I can't speak without being cut off, what's the point?" The studio fell into a tense hush, broken only by the ticking clock signaling the end was near. Yet, the clash continued, highlighting the unpredictable nature of live TV. Viewers speculated on what would happen next, with bets on whether Colin would storm off or if Denise would apologize. The producers, sensing the viral potential, let it roll, capturing every nuanced expression. In hindsight, this exchange revealed much about public figures' vulnerabilities and the pressure of on-air scrutiny. But the real drama unfolded when Colin reached his limit, standing up amid the heated words, declaring the interview over in his mind. The aftermath saw clips shared globally, with analysts debating who was right. Denise later tweeted about standing her ground, while Colin's team issued a statement on respectful dialogue. This incident not only boosted Loose Women's ratings but also sparked conversations on interview etiquette and power dynamics in media. In the heat of the moment on Loose Women, the clash between Colin Firth and Denise Welch reached its zenith, transforming the studio into a battleground of words that left no one unscathed and viewers utterly transfixed by the unfolding spectacle. Denise, her face animated with conviction, accused Colin of embodying the very elitism that plagues British society, referencing his upper-class roles and lifestyle as out of touch with everyday struggles. Colin, his patience wearing thin, fired back, "My work aims to humanize those characters, not glorify them, perhaps you misunderstand the intent." The panel erupted. Christine called for calm, but it was futile as Nadia tried mediating with, "Both points are valid, let's find common ground," only for Jane to side more with Denise, adding fuel with comments on class divides in acting. The audience's reactions amplified the drama, with applause for pointed jabs and gasps at personal digs. Social media platforms lit up like fireworks, with memes of Colin's stern expressions and Denise's fiery retorts circulating rapidly. Colin attempted to de-escalate by complimenting Denise's courage in speaking out on mental health, but she took it as patronizing, snapping, "Don't condescend to me, I've earned my voice." This exchange peeled back layers, revealing insecurities and defenses built over careers in the public eye. As the argument spiraled, topics bounced from feminism to environmental hypocrisy, with Colin citing his carbon footprint reductions and Denise questioning the sincerity behind celebrity activism. "It's all PR," she claimed, to which Colin replied sharply, "And your outbursts are for ratings." The host intervened more forcefully, suggesting a break, but the cameras kept rolling, capturing the raw authenticity that daytime TV craves. Viewers at home debated in comment sections, some empathizing with Colin's frustration at being ambushed, others admiring Denise's unapologetic stance. The tension was electric, with body language speaking volumes, Colin's crossed arms, Denise's leaning forward posture. Even the crew seemed on edge, whispering behind scenes about cutting early. But the show must go on, and it did, with Colin expressing disappointment in the direction, saying, "I expected a conversation, not a confrontation." Denise, undeterred, defended the format, "Loose Women is about real talk, not sugarcoating." This philosophical clash underscored the show's ethos versus guest expectations. As minutes dragged, fatigue set in, but neither backed down, leading to a stalemate that begged for resolution. Finally, the breaking point arrived when Denise made a comment about Colin's stiff upper lip, attitude mirroring colonial remnants, which Colin deemed offensive and irrelevant. "That's enough," he stated firmly, rising from his seat amid stunned silence. The panelists' faces registered shock. Christine stammered, "Colin, please stay," but he shook his head, muttering about wasted time. The audience murmured in disbelief as he walked off set, the cameras following his exit. This dramatic departure sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, with immediate headlines blaring the news. Denise appeared unfazed on air, saying, "If you can't handle the heat," trailing off with a shrug. Post-incident, reactions poured in. Celebrities like Emma Thompson praised Colin's grace under fire, while others supported Denise's probing. The clip became a case study in media training courses, illustrating how interviews can derail. Loose Women's producers reveled in the publicity, though they issued an apology for any discomfort. Colin, in a later interview, reflected on the experience as eye-opening, vowing to choose appearances more carefully. This event not only highlighted personal clashes but also broader issues in celebrity culture. Following Colin Firth's abrupt exit from the Loose Women set after the intense showdown with Denise Welch, the studio was left in a state of bewildered chaos, with the panel scrambling to fill the remaining airtime while the internet erupted in a frenzy of opinions and analyses that dominated headlines for days. Christine Lampard, ever the professional, addressed the camera with a composed smile, saying, "Well, that was unexpected, but that's live TV for you." As she transitioned to the next segment, but the awkwardness lingered like a bad aftertaste. Denise Welch, still seated with a defiant expression, defended her approach, stating on air, "I'm not here to pander, real conversations matter." Nadia and Jane nodded in partial agreement, sharing their takes on the debate's merits, trying to salvage the show's flow. The audience, divided, offered mixed applause, some cheering Denise's boldness, others lamenting the loss of Colin's presence. Backstage, reports later surfaced of Colin gathering his things quickly, exchanging polite but terse words with producers who apologized profusely for the turn of events. His publicist released a statement shortly after, emphasizing Colin's respect for the show but disappointment in the hostile environment. Social media platforms became battlegrounds, with hashtag Denise vs Colin trending worldwide, fans creating polls on who won the argument, and commentators dissecting every word for hidden meanings. Celebrities weighed in. Piers Morgan tweeted support for Denise's grilling style, while others like Judi Dench expressed solidarity with Colin, calling for more civility in interviews. The episode's ratings skyrocketed, becoming one of Loose Women's most watched in years, prompting discussions on whether such clashes are engineered for views or genuine mishaps. Denise later appeared on other shows to explain her side, admitting the exchange got heated but standing by her questions as necessary for accountability. Colin, in a rare candid moment during a film festival, laughed it off as a learning experience, though insiders say it affected his willingness for future talk shows. The incident sparked broader conversations on gender dynamics in media, with articles exploring how male guests are treated versus female, and vice versa. Loose Women issued an official statement, praising both for their passion and inviting Colin back anytime. Viewers shared personal stories inspired by the debate, from mental health struggles to activism journeys, showing the positive ripple effects amid the drama. Memes flooded the web, photoshopping Colin into various walk-off scenarios, lightening the mood. Analysts predicted this would boost Colin's film promotions ironically, as curiosity peaked. Denise's book sales reportedly surged, capitalizing on her no-holds-barred image. In the end, the clash humanized both stars, reminding us that even icons have breaking points. Reflections from the panel revealed internal debates on handling guests, leading to subtle format tweaks. This event joined the annals of TV mishaps, like famous walk-offs from Oprah or Ellen, but with a British twist of understatement. As time passed, Colin and Denise reportedly exchanged private messages, reaching an amicable understanding, though publicly the rivalry lingered for entertainment value. Fans speculated on a reunion episode, boosting engagement. Ultimately, it underscored the power of unscripted moments in captivating audiences, turning a potential PR disaster into cultural gold. The video you're watching now compiles exclusive clips, expert opinions, and fan reactions to give you the full picture of this unforgettable TV moment.